All right, welcome back for the Elexu Live Lounge, and I'm Nate Maingard, hosting this wonderful interview. This is my second time. I'm new to this whole hosting on a camera thing. I'm used to talking to actual people, but I'm imagining you actual people through the screen. So I hope you enjoy and feel that. Today we have Lukas in studio with us.
Hi.
And he is an actor, and he's going to tell us a little bit about himself. We have some questions for him, which I'm going to start asking him now. So, Lukas, you are a student of philosophy, a professionally trained chef, and you've also been in the army. So, how did you come to acting?
Well, first of all, just a tiny but important remark. In Austria, we have to do the army. We can choose between civil service and army, so it's like not as fancy as it sounds, but I did it anyway. Basically, I think I had to try a lot of things. Basically, I think the main reason is I really like to deal with language. I'm a very analytical person, but I do like sports very much. I love literature, and being on stage and acting is the only profession I know. Maybe there is something else I don't know, but the only thing I know which actually combines working both physically and intellectually, creatively. You know, and you work with people. You visit different places depending on what exactly you do, but still it's a combination of everything I like, and it's the only way which gave me the possibility, the right ways to channel my energy, basically.
Right. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, next question we've got to ask you is, when did you make the decision to be an actor? What were you watching a film, or what was happening? How did flash of insight?
So when I was 13, there's actually a pretty determined event to this. When I was 13, I bought this book by Milan Kundera from the Czech Republic, The Unbearable Likeness of Being.
Yeah, it's a great book.
It's a wonderful book, and I read it, and I knew who the actors of the movie were, Daniel Day-Lewis and Lena Olin and Juliette Binoche. And with those actors in mind, I read the book, and it was really important to me. And then I saw the movie, and it was so amazing how the whole mood of the movie was brought to the whole movie. Mood of the book was brought to the movie, right. And I was really, really deeply touched. And I was watching the movie. I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do later in my life. I want to be able to touch people the way I was touched. Turned out not everybody wants to be touched that way, but still, it's to me it's a very precious niche, basically, and then there are a couple of other movies, for instance, the trilogy of Three Colors by there's a Polish director who did a trilogy about the three colors of the French flag. Okay. Fraternity, equality, freedom, and I don't know. It was a certain. For instance, I love Almodovar movies or Tarantino movies. I don't like French or Eastern Europe art movies only. I love good trash, but it's a certain way of dealing with. Yeah, good sexy trash. But I like a certain way of dealing with things which are tiny little bit off the mainstream track, basically. And as I said before, I'm a very analytical person, so that was basically the initiative incident.
Lukas is primarily a stage actor, and he's getting more involved in camera and film work at the moment. So the next question we have is, what is the first thought which comes to, what do you think of first when they call out camera action when the curtain opens, or what's going through your mind?
It actually happened to me that when I was walking on the street, once a girl would come up to me and was like, don't look so serious. You look so angry. And I was like, no, I was just thinking. And in front of the camera, the first thing is okay, mind to smiling, because I always look really seriously. And this is why my first appearances in front of the camera would always be the Nazi man, the policeman, or something really vicious and really evil. And people told me if I smile, it makes a total difference. Then my face changes totally, and then I was so to me it seems
you're thinking, smile.
Yeah, exactly. If I really smile, to me it's almost like a phony smile. But when I see the picture afterwards, oh, it's true. It's not that much of a smile for the camera. So this is basically it's very technical.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Next question is, are you first an actor or a screenwriter?
Definitely first an actor.
Okay.
Screenplay writing is it's fun. I tried writing a play as well. I couldn't ever do that, I think. Then again, I directed a play as well, and I think I could never ever direct anything for the camera. But somehow I like dealing with like aesthetics and pictures, and I have like things in my head, pictures in my head, and it's no problem to bring them to write them down. So the real urge inside of me is definitely the acting. Like whenever I come close to theater, no matter if it's like a huge federal theater or like a very small one in some big court theater, and being in front of the camera that's just my thing, kind of. So definitely,
it's good to know that.
For a sector,
I mean,
but
it's
still
good for an individual to know what it is that they're
doing. Yeah, absolutely. But still, a lot to explore in screenplay writing. It's nothing that comes up and you can do it like right away. So it's very interesting for me to find out what exactly there is to it.
Great. On the screenwriting question, you say, you can do it immediately, and you're working on a script at the moment. So how is that unique? And tell us a bit about that.
Well, I started last December for like, I don't know, writing things off my chest reasons.
Okay.
And I kind of...
I know that feeling.
Yeah, I think a lot of like good stuff starts like that. And I was observing like people around me and like people in general, and there are like two kind of pillars to this script. One is like the question, how does like the internet and social media and smartphones, our computers, whatever, affect our habits about having relationships? Because it's supposed to be a means of communication, but is it possible that actually it cuts off real communication between two human beings? And the other thing is that I've got like this theory, or let's call it an observation, that there are two kinds of relationships. To make it like it's of course like very shortly put, but I think there are relationships based on social compatibility and relationships based on an emotional and sexual compatibility. And I think the first kind of relationships is way more common than the second one, because if we meet somebody whom we are really into emotionally, physically, sexually, it always leads to kind of like, in my opinion, very good kind of chaos. We come very close to another person, hence very close to us. We have to question ourselves: who are we? What do we want to do? And that's not the best basis for like going to work in an office or in a factory on a daily basis. On the other hand, if we meet somebody whom we understand perfectly, who lives a life which is very similar to our own life, then we know whom we are dealing with. It's easy. We are allegedly very productive because we can work all the time, because we don't have to question things, ourselves, our lives. And those two influences on relationships seem to be a very interesting issue to write about. And that's basically, so it started off as like writing things off my chest, but then it was like I involved some writing techniques and some questions like what else is necessary apart from things I experienced personally. And that kind of led to I very much, I like nowadays, like almost pornographic scenes are seen in like common movie halls. It's nothing special anymore, and I would like to go back to a more subtle kind of erotic, because it's definitely a lot. You could call it a sex movie, but not it's not about displaying like intercourse or something, but it's more about like the in-betweens of sex, of love, of
so the driving force behind the actual physical acts.
Exactly. What's there to it beyond like the very like, I don't know, insensitive. In my opinion, like people are dealing very insensitively with their emotions nowadays. And I'd like this is supposed to be a reflection on it, which is both intellectual and sensual.
Okay.
Basically.